Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
I keep trying to use my mouse, but my mouse is with the other computer. Hello, Josh Patton.
Is this Kim?
It is. Hello, Carcille.
Hey, honey. How are you all?
I'm good. Are you driving, baby?
Yeah. What I've done is I pulled over.
Okay. Just want you to be careful.
All right.
Not sure what that was.
That was me. I went ahead and started my car because after sitting here for about 2 minutes, it got too hot.
Oh, gotcha. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, I see Dave sitting down. Don't know about Stephen.
Okay. I don't know anything about anybody but you and me as far as the checking in.
Well, I've got Keith and Todd and Dave on my screen, and Josh Patton, some kind of crazy hat. I'm going to have to ask him about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure Dave knows we're all here yet. There he goes. Hello. Are you looking at us?
Hello.
Don't forget today's Josh and Laura's anniversary.
Oh my goodness. How nice. That's been how many years now? Has it been a year, 2 years? I can't remember. What?
7.
Time flies.
You are kidding me.
I can't, I have no way of knowing if we're live because I don't have that screen that shows that.
He's going to step back here in just a second. He's
Okay.
got to be in another room.
Well, see, Casey comes on and waves at me.
We're ready.
All right, there we go. So, Mr. Cox, if you would call the meeting to order, please.
Yes, ma'am. Burchett,
Here.
Childers,
Here.
Gibson,
Here.
Crowley,
Here.
Mulberry.
I believe Mr. Mulberry had to be at a funeral, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. 4 members present.
Thank you, sir. We would need to approve the agenda. If we could have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
So a motion by Keith and second by Todd to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Cox, could you give us some background, please?
Yes, ma'am. The purpose of the meeting tonight is to evaluate the start date for the 2021 school year. We originally had, I guess a month or so ago, had decided that we were going to kind of give this pandemic a chance to play out as much as it could and to try to get some detail in exactly where we're at. And the calendar was approved to begin September the 8th, the day after Labor Day. Then we backed that off at my request, which we in hindsight probably should have done, to August 26th, because the folks around us were doing the same thing, and we thought that we were going to be in a good enough position primarily to start everybody coming to school. Since that time, we've had a bit of a spike. We've had some numbers go up, and it's became apparent that some of the schools, all of our schools, wanted to exercise the option the board gave them in our reopening document to change some schedules, to basically offer parents three options. And with that, it's going to cause us quite a bit of time. I've got to get those schedules done. 2,850 schedules, 3 different master schedules are going to take some time. There's some other reasons as well, and I will run through those very quickly. Additional time to train teachers and staff in Google Classroom and software that will allow for live streaming. We're in the process of doing that right now, but as far as getting all of our teachers trained in the same way, we're having to do a lot of this stuff virtually. Very little that we can do hands-on except for in small groups. We have an outside tech company, even though our July 30th test went very well, we have an outside tech company coming the end of this week to do an audit. We anticipate them asking us to make some changes, whether that be with switchgear or access points or whatever it may be, but we want to be sure that we have time to implement that and be at our very best before we start back. I wouldn't want to start back on the 26th and then had we been able to wait a few days, have everything going perfectly. Even though our test went very well, we still need this data. We do still have some technology hardware back ordered, 200 Chromebooks that are not in the district yet. Those are the numbers that's going to allow us to include the 3rd grade as well as get our teachers who don't have a printer Chromebook and get them one back. By delaying the first day of school by these 7 instructional days, we're going to buy almost 2 weeks of time for our staff to prepare and to do all the things I just spoke to, based on the fact there's a holiday in there and then 2 weekends. So we're only going to go backwards 7 days. We will still get out on, these schedules get out on May 14th, and we'll still have the same 2 days as well for fall break that we had in the original calendar. The last thing I would say is the extra time will allow the district to better analyze what the current circumstances are, and if things take an upturn, then perhaps parents can make a more informed decision as to what they want to do as well. But those are the reasons that we came up with, and when we met with the principals the other day, went over our 3 options, we're sure that they can handle the 3 things that the board wanted to do. They said, we can make this happen. We just need a little bit more time, because part of this process is getting a hold of students and parents individually and talking to them about what's going to be best for their kid on a one-on-one basis. And we're doing that. It's just slow, laborious work.
Understood. Is there any questions from board members?
You'd like to add, Ms. Crowley?
Just wanted to mention one thing. Since we have our PD days already set, I'd set opening preparation for teachers on the 8th, and then we start with students on the 9th.
Okay. Opening prep would be on the 8th, students on the 9th, Mark said. You're still out on the 14th?
Oh, yeah, we just have a gap between PD and the start of school.
So the starting school date we're asking for is the 9th,
The
actually.
9th would be half a day.
A half a day on the 9th would be our first day. And we would have opening prep on the Tuesday after Labor Day, which would be opening day for our teachers, if you all choose to approve this calendar.
I would just mention that, as we said in our opening document, that the data is constantly changing and the metrics are constantly evolving. So, you know, we're doing the best we can based on what we know right now. What we won't know is what's going to happen between now and then. We may have to make another change, but I think we're doing the best we can.
True.
How are we doing with communicating with the parents or guardians for the people that don't have the Wi-Fi? Are we able to communicate direct phone calls to find out where they fall with those three options?
Yes, sir, we are. I sent that little video out this weekend for the folks who could get that, but each school are contacting parents personally. That's one of the reasons that it's taking so much time. Mr. Croft was doing it at the high school for AIM teachers. They're actually divided up among teachers at the elementary and middle as well. And so we are making personal phone calls to everybody, Keith. That's the understanding. That's the process that we had in place when we left our teachers meeting or personal meeting last week.
Okay.
But you know,
Did you have any other questions?
what we started with, Ms. Crowley, and I'll say this, then I'm done, is that we started with a survey to see if there was interest in doing what the parents actually wanted. The survey interest then guided us in what we asked them for. So basically, we're asking folks now with the personal phone call and the personal contact to make a pre-registration of sorts, so we can get some hard data. And again, as Mr. Children was saying, provided that doesn't change, but if it doesn't, then we'll have some hard data. We're going to know fairly soon where each kid will be on opening day.
Okay.
And I believe, sir, that once it gets closer to opening day and we have that data available, we will be reaching out to parents again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's the best we can hope for.
Just to reiterate, and we'll also send something in the mail as to what their schedule is, and they'll know exactly. We'll have to do a mailing of everybody. We'll let them know exactly what their schedule is, and maybe by then it would be possible for them to even come to some type of a open house, even though it be a bit limited with smaller numbers. We can hand those out and then go over exactly what we're going to do. The comments that I had back, and I don't know how many you've received, but the comments I've had back from having three choices was they were very, very pleased with that. And the live streaming changes that we made going into this year, they're very pleased with that. So both of those were board initiatives. So I'm certainly happy to be nudged in that direction. And I think that there's going to be a lot of kids. I mean, really, if this works out the way it looks like it very well could, everybody's going to be able to have the choice that they want to do. And I don't really know anybody else doing that right now.
I just have one question, and it really doesn't pertain to opening school day, but just back to the scheduling. If a parent decides all virtual, then how long before they can make a choice to make a change? I know that was mentioned last meeting, but I just wanted that clarified.
We talked about that in the video. It's also being talked about with parents when they're being called. Absent some kind of doctor's excuse or medical emergency or something of that nature, that they could change on the grading period. At K through 8, it would be 9 weeks. At the high school, it would be 12 weeks. And that way we could once we get those classes set, and we're going to have to move some kids around, because one of our ultimate goals here is to get the class numbers down far enough so they don't have to wear a mask. But we wouldn't want to let kids begin to wear a mask and then 35 kids decide they want to come back because somebody, the friend group came or whatever, and they didn't have to put the mask back on. So if they have a doctor's excuse or a reason of that nature, then they can change prior to the grading period, obviously. But other than that, it would be a grading period, 9 weeks for K8 and then 12 weeks at the high school.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought it was, but I just wanted to clarify.
Well, I think we mentioned that it is discretionary with the principals, because as you were saying, Mr. Cox, they may need to make a slight change or something with their numbers, so they have that discretion. But it's not because of a student changing their mind as much as it's better for the school to maybe do a change if required.
You're exactly right. In that circumstance, I think you and I talked about, I remember now, Todd, is that if some kids wanted to go hybrid or go virtual, but were coming every day, and it allowed some kids to be able to take their mask off, we didn't want to preclude that. So you're exactly right. So there is principal discretion, but primarily the bulk of the reason would be if there were some medical reason. But if it does help the school, help the other kids, we would certainly entertain that as well. But,
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion to this item? So we would need a motion changing the start date of school to teacher prep on Tuesday, the 8th, and opening date for students on Wednesday, the 9th, as a half day.
Can we just make it as a motion to adopt the new schedule as proposed, because it's going to change a lot of dates?
Well, actually, that's probably the better way to do it.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to adopt the new calendar as proposed by the superintendent.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Todd and a second by Carcel. Is there any other discussion? So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. That motion carries, sir.
okay, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it. And I do, and I spoke to most of you about this, and if not all. I think the parents will appreciate getting this information out rather than waiting until the 13th. So the need for this virtual meeting was pretty big on their part. So thank you for taking some time out today on an unscheduled date. I appreciate it. I will let Mr. Mulberry know what's going on as soon as he gets out of his funeral. He said he would call me.
Good. All right, then we would need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
So a
I'll
motion
second.
by Keith and a second by Carcel. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carried, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Call us when you need us.
I always do. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, Clark Patton.